Hi, I'm Jackson. If for some miraculous reason you do not know my real name,
Jackson. Jesus Jackson.
now you know. Anyway, I made this video so you guys can get a sense of who I am as a person, so I don't seem like an emotionless, content-dispensing void of nothingness! Since I'm not dumb enough to give you guys the state I live in and the city I live in, I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. I thought I'd introduce myself by regaling you with some of my favorite things, like movies and such. And yes, as I'm writing the script, I'm starting to realize this might come off as a bit self-centered. Talking on and on about my favorite shit in a video, you yourself decide to click on. What's in it for me, you ask? Why would I waste
approximately 14 minutes
of my life learning about a small-time YouTuber with barely any relevance? First of all, ouch. Second of all, I've devised a solution. Halfway through the video, we'll have an intermission where you can tell me about your favorite things. It's a win-win. Any questions? Yes, you in the back with the neckbeard. Will we get a face reveal? I've decided against that until further notice, but who knows, if you guys get me to 50k, I might just consider it. Shameless subscribe reminder. Now, let's get right... Oh, Jesus, fuck, I feel like such an idiot. Since it was my example in the intro, let's start with my favorite movies. Like every other human on Earth, I enjoy the basics, such as Star Wars and Harry Potter. With this in mind, I humbly present to you my favorite movie, Avengers Endgame. Fuck off, okay? I love the MCU, and its Phase 3 conclusion was a masterpiece from beginning to end. When Captain America wielded Mjolnir, saying that I mentally jizzed my pants would be an understatement. And The Office is subpar at best compared to my favorite TV show, and we'll get to that later. As for my other favorite movies, I have a strange fondness for Anna and the Apocalypse, a post-apocalyptic Christmas movie that is also a musical. It's really entertaining, and the soundtrack is top tier. See, one thing you should know about me is that I love to laugh. Plot, suspense, twists, emotional beats, and all that stuff matters to me, but whether or not something is funny is a major deciding point. I'm droning on, so here are some honorable mentions before we move on. The Princess Bride, Thor Ragnarok, Train to Busan, Penguins of Madagascar, Moana, Wreck-It Ralph 1, not 2, goddammit, Game Night, The Incredibles, both Lego movies, and Skyscraper. My favorite TV show? Oddly enough, I do have a top 5 laid out. I've apparently put more subconscious thought into TV show rankings than movie rankings. Anyway, number 5, Adventure Time. Number 4, The Good Place. Number 3, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Number 2, Regular Show. And number 1, Phineas and Ferb. All of these shows made me laugh a lot. Some more than others, hence the rating. Phineas and Ferb is my favorite show because not only does every episode make me laugh at some point, but also because the songs are absolute bangers. I know about 1/3 of the songs by heart. In conclusion, I am a simp for Phineas and Ferb. Some honorable mentions: Stranger Things, Kill la Kill, The Walking Dead, Rick and Morty, The Mandalorian, and Solar Opposites. Next up, an easy one. My favorite song. I'd say it's easy because it's been my favorite song for almost 5 years. That and also every single goddamn song on my Just Vibin' playlist is tied for second place. Anyway, my favorite song is Still Alive from Portal. I have very positive memories of the song. Way back when I first completed Portal, when I had an IQ resembling that of a pretzel with no salt on it. I remember being extremely proud of myself for accomplishing such a feat. That feeling of triumph stayed with me the first time listening to the song at the very end of the game. And honestly, it still does now while listening to it for the 153rd time. Hell, when I get insulted for performing badly in other games, or if I'm just feeling down in general, I listen to Still Alive to cheer myself up and remind me that I'm glad I got burned because of all the things I learned, and at least I am still alive. Or my favorite song could just be a popular rapper saying he fucked my bitch 15 different times. Well, looks like it's time for that intermission I mentioned earlier. Let me just settle in. Okay, have at it. I understand that. I see your point. Understandable. That's pretty understandable. Couldn't agree more. Oh, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was in that, wasn't he? Not a big fan of that. very quirky. Damn, and you made fun of me for going on and on. Other than that, very valid points. Also, I really didn't agree with the My Little Pony shit. You may want to see a therapist about some of that. Last one, and it's a big one. My top 10 favorite video games. As you can probably see glancing through my channel's videos, I play a lot of video games. Therefore, I have a lot of favorites and I tend to talk more about them. For clarity's sake, and so I don't have to choose specific games out of the franchises, wherever applicable, I will list franchises as a whole as opposed to each game individually. Number 10, Left 4 Dead 2. No need mentioning the first one considering Left 4 Dead 2 literally has the entirety of its predecessor as a part of it. A fast-paced, timeless game to play with friends. Really good. Number 9, Firewatch. One of the few single-player games on this list, Firewatch is a beautiful game that delivers great emotional beats and story. Number 8, Dead by Daylight. A very interesting game to say the least. The programmers of this game watched a horror movie and said, that'd make a great multiplayer video game. And they were right. Difficult at times, but a great game to sink time into. Number 7, Team Fortress 2. This game has so much charm and raw appeal. This game's been up for nearly 13 years, and it still has a thriving community, unlike other games. Hell, I haven't even mentioned the hats that literally about to make me act up right now. Number 6, Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. While playing these games, I would get goosebumps every time the music reached a climax, thinking about how awesome I must look slicing demons open to this. Both of these games are endlessly enjoyable works of art. Number 5, Terraria. When I was bored around the age of 13, I'd sit my ass down and play Terraria Mobile until it was time to go home. Hours would pass by, just like that. And when I became older and bought it on PC, I began to adore it even more. I grinded until I had every achievement except for Supreme Helper Minion, because that shit's impossible. Terraria is a mind-numbingly expansive game with boundless ingenuity behind its creation. A phenomenal game. Number 4, Minecraft. Terraria is definitely better, and let me explain, that sounds a bit weird, but Minecraft is very dear to my heart, like it is for many other gamers from my generation. Many games directed me to where I am now, but none of them directed me quite like Minecraft did. Something about Minecraft's endless possibilities and the adventures it allowed me to go on stirred the creativity inside my young brain. Without Minecraft, I may have ended up being a completely different person. Thank you, Minecraft. Number 3, the Half-Life series. Let's say this will also include the Portal series and Gary's Mod, and I'll get to that later. I can't possibly name an FPS series as creative and as groundbreaking as the Half-Life series. Every bit and piece of each Half-Life game is uniquely different and challenging in its own way. Sure, there are your classic run and gun situations, but it's in the quiet moments between fights that the Half-Life games really shine. It is also fun to note that the creators of Half-Life took these simple puzzles in Half-Life and made 2 entire games focusing around puzzles because they realized they had a knack for this kind of shit. And those games were Portals 1 and 2, which are stunning in their own right. I even threw Gary's Mod in here because of how much fun it is just to play around with the source engine that all these beautiful games were made with. Overall, a truly breathtaking series of games, worthy of recognition. Number 2, Rainbow Six Siege. There's no other way to say this. When you first play this game, you will hate it. First, you'll try out the situations, kind of like the story mode. Probably die the first few times, but you'll get the hang of it. You'll feel pretty good about yourself and decide to hop into casual PvP, the backbone of the game. You'll get wrecked, and you'll get wrecked. Eventually, the person that kills you will taunt you, saying something like, lol easy, and you want to throw your computer. I know I have. You probably won't play for a few days, maybe even weeks. And then one day, as you're taking a shower or walking your dog, you'll remember that guy and the stupid way he killed you. It might even involve a teabag. Suddenly, you'll feel an urge to get better at the game, to beat him, to beat everyone. You'll start playing Terrorist Hunt, PvE, and your aim will improve, and so will your map knowledge. You watch a couple YouTube videos explaining some tips and tricks, and you'll build your self-esteem back up. The moment of truth has come as you hop back into PvP. Your team will all be dead, and it'll be match point. All your friends will be at the edge of their seats, spectating you, and everything you've worked for will coalesce. Before you know it, you'll have clutched the round, and your whole team will be cheering you on. Your arms will be shaking, and pure adrenaline will be coursing through your veins. You'll lean back in your chair, and gingerly type into chat, lol, easy. That was a review my friend Alexander wrote for Rainbow Six Siege on Steam. Props to him for writing a review that perfectly describes your mindset while you play the game. If Siege had some sort of respawn mechanic, it would be a completely different game. Every move you make must be thought out thoroughly, if you want to win, of course. And that's another thing too. Thanks to the wonders of casual, you can still play Siege while also letting the pressure subside, because nothing in casual matters. I adore Siege because it's a perfect game to lose yourself in and have fun with friends. Now it's time for number 1, Lisa the Painful RPG. But what is that, you wonder? I've never heard of that game, so why is it his favorite? Well, I'll tell you. If you ask me about the story and the mechanics, I'll start to drone on about why it's amazing, so I'll just give you a quick spoiler-free description. Lisa the Painful takes place in a post-apocalyptic world called Olaf. For reasons unknown, all women have gone extinct. All that's left is men, unable to procreate, doomed to wander the wastes of a former life. You control Brad Armstrong, a washed-up karate instructor. Everything changes when Brad discovers something. A baby girl lying alone in the middle of the desert. Brad takes it upon himself to raise this girl that he named Buddy and keep her hidden from the perverted world outside. One day, Brad comes back to find his house ransacked, one of his friends bleeding out, his final words being, "Secret's out, Brad." Brad then goes on a journey to find Buddy and take her home. That's all I'm willing to say about the story because I really want you to play it. So let's move on to why it's my favorite game. Lisa the Painful is the most polarizing game I've ever played. Never before have I played a game with so much laughter and levity while also having seriously fucked up themes. I won't reveal too much, but the game forces you to make really, really tough choices that, no lie, will break your will. This game will kick you in the teeth so many times you'll have to get dentures. Like I said before, Lisa the Painful is also really funny. This game switches from funny to serious so many times it's mesmerizing. And the best part is, none of it overlaps or feels off-putting. Everything flows so organically and believably to the point where it becomes suspicious. What kind of genius made this game? Also, the soundtrack is kick-ass. It's such a weird hodgepodge of off-putting noises. And genuinely beautiful music. In conclusion, you'll kind of just need to play it yourself to truly understand why it's such a masterpiece. It's such a riot to play, and I honestly think it's the best game ever made. Lisa truly deserves its own analysis/review video, and I will most likely do that in the future. Its base price on Steam is $10, which actually seems quite low to be perfectly honest, and I highly recommend buying it. Now here's some honorable mentions. Overwatch, Splatoon, CSGO, Dying Light, Undertale, the Plants vs. Zombies franchise, Beat Saber, Geometry Dash, and the Walking Dead Telltale series. Whew, that was a ride. Thanks for staying until the end of the video. It's pretty epic. Hope you enjoyed it. Here's a bonus for you that waited after the outro. My favorite book is Ready Player One. The movie was good, but not good enough to be in my honorable mentions for the movies. Good night.